Now we're going to a segment that we like to call the Talkback. We're bringing in my friend and yours, Matt Spenley, the Big Spend. He's got some questions for us from the audience. Matt, what do you have for us?
What's up, guys? Thanks for having me on, as always. All right, we are starting off from YouTube. Our guy Scar on YouTube. Cody, I'm going to throw this one right to you because he says, haven't watched much Pistons. What would be their game plan for exploiting Cat? So curious from what the Pistons have been able to execute offensively. We've talked a lot in this space about Cat's defense this year at the 5. So curious for the Pistons offensively, how do you think they'll try to attack Cat and take advantage of his defense at the 5?
Simple. Get him to switch, get him out there on the perimeter on, somebody like Cade Cunningham and let him go one-on-one. Because that's the one thing about Cade, man. He can get it. He can score, regardless of who is guarding him. Especially if you get a switch and you have a big man on him, you definitely looking at a situation where Cade has an opportunity to blow right past him, attack the rim, draw the foul, or even, have an opportunity to get his shot off. Cade can score in a variety of different ways, and I think that's going to be one matchup that they're definitely going to try to exploit.
Steve, I know we've talked, obviously, in this space, too, about the Mitch-Cat tandem. Our guy Jay from East on YouTube is saying, let me find the question also on my screen. I think Mitch needs to start for this Detroit series. We know that they're not really going to change up the starting lineup, and Mitch and Cat have played 47 minutes together this season. How much do you think we'll see of Mitch and Cat together in Detroit against the playoffs?
It's interesting. I don't think we'll see a lot of it just because sort of what we just mentioned here. Cat is a liability when you're switching Cade onto a guy. But I just think his offense is such a factor that they're going to have a hard time taking him off. And I think the other guys are so versatile to play Mitch with Cat sort of. I guess I'm looking at the right word here. Sort of creates a mismatch where you have guys that really are not switchable there. Josh, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, all are very interchangeable. I think Thibodeau likes that. I think foul-wise, too, they have to protect these guys. I don't think we'll see a lot of it together. Look, I think it is an interesting concept. And the most interesting thing about it is if you could somehow combine Mitch and Cat into one player, that would be the ideal player the Knicks need, because every time Mitch isn't on the floor, you think you need his defense. And then when you see offensively, the drop-off from Cat to him is just off a cliff.
Maybe that's the fix in the offseason, Steve. Just figure out some kind of mad science.
Science is doing things these days.
We're whipping up the graphic already behind us, don't you worry.
The Knicks training staff has done a tremendous job this year.
They have.
I'm not ruling that out that they can pull that off.
Anthony Goenega, what do you have up your sleeve, buddy?
MVP.
Yeah. So we're gonna hit final thoughts here, Cody. I'm sorry, I don't want to jump the gun. Matt, anything else?
No, Ian, last one. I wanted to ask everybody because it's kind of been a discussion. I've seen some people surmising that Cade Cunningham might be the best player in the series, and I think a lot of the Knicks fans are taking that personally. So I want to go down the list, and I want all you guys to tell me who's the best player in the series. Cody, I have to start with you because you're the Pistons guy. So who is the best player in the series? Tell us.
Man, it's tough because I'm gonna go Jalen. I'm gonna go Jalen only because this is the only year that we've seen Cade have this type of year. And, Jalen Brunson, even before he got to New York, it was the last season that he had in Dallas. You thought that backcourt was going to be something special in Dallas. And boy, I don't know what Dallas was thinking. But, I'm going to go Jalen only because I'm giving him the edge due to experience. Because, yes, Cade Cunningham has had a phenomenal season. Yes, it's been a pleasure watching Cade, finally take that step to All-Star and All-NBA. However, now it's the playoffs, and, things are going to change in the playoffs. When you take a look at Jalen Brunson, not only does he have the experience, but, we seen it longer with Jalen. And once again, and I know this is something I kept coming back to this entire time, Jalen is averaging 31 points per game in the playoffs as a member of the Knicks. That is third since 2023. That is a remarkable achievement. And we watched what he was able to do last year. And if the Knicks are healthy, you're looking at a situation where they probably get to the Eastern Conference Finals. And those are the things that definitely going to play into a factor as to why I'm taking Jalen as the best player. But my guy, Cade, if this is Jalen, Cade is right there. Let's just say that.
Sure. Ian, then Steve.
I'm with Cody for everything he said. Brunson, specifically based on the experience and the body of work. But I think Cade's coming, man. He's, regardless of what happens in this series, what percentage he shoots, whatever, he stays healthy. He's coming. The next few years, he's going to be, that's one of those starting guard spots in the East, I think, is his to lose as you look ahead here. But right now, Jalen Brunson.
I guess, first of all, I feel sorry for Nico Harrison catching strays even in this discussion. But deservedly so. Look, Cade is, number one overall pick for a reason. He's going to be all NBA this year. I have a vote, and he's certainly going to be part of it. To me, you still go with Jalen Brunson for a couple things. The playoffs are just different. He's proved he can do it at that level in the playoffs and maybe even raise his level. With the help he's got, to me, he's just a guy that you can rely on here, and he's going to find the answers for you.
That's what I got, Ian. Now it's back to you. Now you can go.
Thank you, Big Spend. We will see you again soon. Final thoughts here, guys. Cody, I want to start with you. Can you give us a series prediction?
Oh man, I hate series predictions. I think this is going to be, like I mentioned, one of the grittiest defensive-minded series that we're going to get in the first round. I think it's going to be close every single game. I don't see a situation where one team is going to blow the other team out. However, I think I'm going to have to go Knicks in 7, only because at the end of the day, man, I just can't look past the experience that the Knicks have. And like I mentioned, yes, the Pistons, veteran players have stepped up throughout this whole entire season. However, once again, I just go back to the core majority of the players that Bickerstaff is relying upon is young players, who are still, if they're not trying to find their way, they're getting close to breaking, getting broken free. I mean, one guy that, we haven't really talked about too much is Jalen Duren. He's going to be another big X factor for the Pistons, and whether or not if he can tilt this series in their favor, given his ability, to dominate the glass, given his ability to be a solid presence in the inside. However, Jalen, he has had his up and down so far on the defensive side of the ball. And yes, Isaiah Stewart is your defensive anchor, but there's going to be moments where it's just going to be him and Cat down on the low post together. And then, like Shaquille O'Neal say, will that be barbecue chicken at that point for somebody as skilled as Karl-Anthony Towns? So, I think the series, once again, is going to come down to experience. And if that's the case, it's going to be the Knicks in 7.
Yeah, I'll just piggyback off that. I'll say Knicks in 6. But if Detroit gets one of those first two, I think things could go sideways a little bit. But I do think overall, I think Knicks in 6. I feel good about that. Steve, how about you?
It's kind of funny. We talk about this matchup and we think of guys, JB Bickerstaff, who went against the Knicks 2 years ago and probably affected his not being in Cleveland anymore. Tobias Harris last year with Philadelphia in the playoffs, what the Knicks did to him probably is part of the reason he's in Detroit this year. Duren and Ivy were players the Knicks loved on draft night, and I think would have liked to have had both of them. And now they wind up, Ivy, I guess, won't be a part of this, but, guys that they've got to get past. To me, it's experience, it's health for the Knicks right now. I just think as much as this could be a fight, I think the experience that the Knicks have versus the inexperience of the Pistons as a group, this group together, is going to be a factor. I think if the Pistons could somehow grab game 1 and believe maybe it's a different thing, but coming into the Garden is tough. I think it's going to be 4 or 5 games. I think the Knicks will take them at the Garden. It's 2-0, and then the whole thing is, how do the Pistons respond? How do the Knicks fans respond? Are they filling up Detroit despite what the Pistons have tried to do with the tickets there? I think the Pistons need to strike early to show that they can be in this series and that they're ready to be that kind of team that elevates that next level. If they can't do that early, I think this ends quickly.
Yeah, one
thing I would say, I think the Knicks would like to do that because the Pistons beat you up, and the Knicks need to be healthy for the next round.
Yeah, that's where I am too. The shorter series, the better for the Knicks because of that. And Cody, just piggybacking off what Steve said with the tickets, any of your buddies have tickets, they could probably make a lot of money. Somebody in New York trying to get to Detroit. So I'm just throwing it out there.
I like that plan because as soon as I saw that, I thought back to I think it was 2 years ago when the Knicks played against Philly. I think that was in the I can't remember which round it was, but it was
the first round last
year.
Yep.
And like majority of Philly's arena was just orange and blue skies, as they say in New York. So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I like that. I like that. Yeah. Keep those Knicks fans away. Keep those Knicks fans away.
Just saying, though, if any of your friends, they could probably cover the rent for next month if they want to get off some of their tickets selling to a Knicks fan. Anyway,